Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher. And today we're going to take a look at the tangle Zenchalada from Cyndi Knapp. Uh, so you have to take a look at the For More Inspiration link in the description section so you can read the story behind the inspiration, of this tangle. So, and those that my fellow Tangle addicts, you'll that are on our calls regularly, you will get an extra kick out of it. So, it's a neat tangle, and I like to make sure to bring a variety, every day. So I'm not just well. Sometimes I do get stuck in a rut. This is a grid pattern, so I am going to start the little grid here. Um, Sometimes I get stuck in a rut where it's like, oh, another big. Okay, we'll do another. We'll do another border tangle. But I try to do my best so that way, uh, it's not too many of one thing all at once. So I like to make sure also, and this is too angly. Let's see. No, I knocked my. I smacked my camera. Hopefully, it'll behave a little bit better. But and I have this. This looks skewed because I have it at an angle. It's the best angle I can find so far, so that way I can draw comfortably and you can see the tip of the pen. Um, so anyway, I wanted to make sure as I saw this. Oh, this is one of a recent one from uh, TanglePatterns.com. So when you click on that For More Inspiration link, make sure to subscribe uh, to Linda's newsletter there. It's free. You get like a tangle, I want to say 5 days a week. And then on the weekends, like she'll do a recap or a refresher or something. But there's, plethora of tangles, and it's a really great resource. There's some other resources out there as well, but this is a great one. I try to, when I go to one of those resources, I try to mention it so you can subscribe or at least bookmark it so that way you can go, and peruse yourself. While you're there, make sure to also, right underneath where she says to subscribe, right underneath there is a link to the Zentangle website. So make sure to also follow their blog because then you get things right from the horse's mouth. Okay. First step in this one, in the center of these, and as you can see, I am. If you didn't know this already, I'm the poster child for. You can do this. Anybody can do this, even if you don't, make straight lines. That's okay. It all works. So in the center of each box, and I'm just doing a 4 square for ease, um, because you'll get the idea. Uh, put a dot in the center. Then, from that dot, we're going to kind of make. I had a little bit of trouble making it be triangular, but as I'm looking at Cyndi's samples, some of them are and some of them aren't. I'm going to try to make them sort of triangular because I think it has a neat look. So from the dot, I'm kind of coming up to the corner and then rounding like that. But if it ends up being more like, just a round shape, that's okay. So we're going to do this in all of these. And this is one thing that I like to do, especially in a grid pattern, and that is take the one step, in the one direction and repeat it in all the boxes. Then, so this one, because we're going to do this in all 4 corners, then it's just turn the tile, rinse and repeat, and do the same thing. In case you didn't know, Zentangle was created as a way to teach meditation through art. I found both, through Zentangle, but one of the things that makes it meditative is the repetition, and so that's why step outs are important. And having step outs that have uh, easy steps, using the elemental strokes, because I don't know if you could hear that loudness outside. But that's what makes it easily repetitive. So you're not always looking back. I mean, there's always the really extra fun ones that we have done recently. I mean, they're fun to have a challenge, but I always like to point this out when I hit one of these that is more highly repetitive, because we want to make sure that I like to stay grounded in the method of Zentangle, just because it gets so easy to, when we see everybody's beautiful work and stuff like that, and to kind of go down that path. And I just want to stay grounded in this is what Zentangle is, and I don't know, I like it. I hope you do too. Now, next, we're going to put little curve lines in all of these gaps. And just so you know, in my step out, and actually in Cindy's also, because for the most part, modeled mine after what she did. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, she just did one box. And in my version, what I did at the end is I made a 4 square like this, and then the box before I put some instruction, because I know I have gotten the question before, or I've gotten the question which was because somebody was confused regarding regarding that. It's like, well, that was in one box. I don't understand how you got from here to there, type of thing. So I like to make sure to include that. And I'm just putting all of these. This one I'm not necessarily, because they're so little, turning the tile every time. But if it makes your hand feel more comfortable to do so, do it. That is, turn the tile to make your hand comfortable. And there we go. Except for the fill-in. Now, and in Cindy's, that's how she did it. It's completely. This is a total high contrast tangle. Part of me though says, because it is Zentangle and we can do whatever you want with it. Why not? Maybe, if you wanted to use this as a reticula. It's just like, oh, look at all these spaces that you can now do things with. We're gonna follow the step out, because I think it is really, really nice having it with the contrast that it has. So here's something, as you're looking at it and thinking, well, how do I want to do this? I'm gonna do it the 2 ways that Cindy shows. But when I'm looking right now, I did a pretty decent job on this one. Okay, so, and I'm looking because if I goofed something up, or I did something or I didn't really like, I always look to there to say, okay, if I'm filling in, what do I want to cover up first? and I don't really see much. So what I'm going to do is, we'll just go to start here. And I switched to this graphic 1 pen because it's thicker. It makes the filling in go a lot quicker. So if you don't have a thicker nibbed pen, this is nice because it's not quite a brush tip, but it gives me that feel, sort of. It's not as loose as a brush tip is, but at the same time, it's not. Let me just show you. It's not like like here's a 12. It's just different. This is nice for tangling. This is nice for filling in. The 12 is not. I don't know. It's not so much in my book anyway, for filling in, even though you can. Because you can still get into little nooks and crannies with this one, where the 12, that's just it. So what I'm doing, I'm filling in all of these things that we did first. And like I said, this is where you could course correct. So if you had something that was, well, like what I just did there, which that was of my own pen. But what you can do is you can straighten these things out by tracing over it, and no one is the wiser. And you might even forget about it after you do it. Like, where was that? Oh, I have no idea where that place was. And actually, I think let's just make this go in there a little bit. And then we will fill in these little little curved lines. And I'm going to alternate this. Actually, I think I'll just do these two, and then I can fill in the rest while we're either later or whatever, before I take the picture. And what I like to do with this also is outline. So that way I run less of a risk of going into a section that I don't want to go into and creating my own problems. It just helps. And then sometimes I will maybe, leave stay a little bit away from the edge, from an edge or like a corner, and then come back with the smaller nibbed pen that I was using already to just kind of neaten things up and get into those little corners like so. But yeah, so what's neat is it, like I said, I kind of consider high contrast where it's like almost 50-50 ish, black and white. And it's so nice to have these high contrast tangles in whatever Zentangle work that you're doing. It's just, there's something extra neat about that. So we always like to make sure to have some of those, in your mental tangle toolbox. And I do have a playlist of them. So on my the home page of the YouTube channel. So if you click on my name or my picture, that will take you there. And there I have playlists. Some I need to go back at because every time I start a new one, I don't necessarily go back and add other ones that apply. But I do have a high contrast playlist, and so that way you can click on it. That way you can see all of the tangles that are in that category. So it's just neat. You don't have to alternate it like this. You could do all of them like this. You could do all of them like that. It's completely up to you. It's just kind of neat to show the difference here, and it also kind of creates a neat effect, alternating them like that. So, and with this, usually, like I'm probably not going to shade it because there's enough going on with with the contrast. Although, I mean, you could certainly play with it, like in here, maybe if you wanted to add a little, swoosh mark or something in there, you certainly could. Up to you. So, I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to finish this up as I tell you the important information at the end of the video. Sometimes I throw it in earlier because, you know, because if you're like me, you skate out on it. Well, and if you're like me, if you do that, then you're already gone, so it doesn't matter. But if you're not, and I hope you're not, first, I should have started with this, but I really appreciate your watching. This is such a hoot. It really is. This started off these quickies as a way of explaining. It's like somebody had messaged me, or no, maybe it was on the Facebook group. By the way, if you want to hang out with a bunch of really cool and amazing, well, I was gonna say it's where the cool kids hang out, but not really. We're like more of the back of the bus kids. So if that's the kind of if you'd like to hang out with us back of the bus kids, we'd love to hang out with you. So there's a link to my to this private Facebook page that we have. There are amazing people, all from different levels of skill, challenges, whatever. It's just a beautiful community that has developed over the last 3 or so years. Um, just really amazing. And where was I going with that? I don't know. I've lost track. But but I want to say thank you for watching it because all of it's just this started off with me like, oh, I can't really explain how to do this. Here, I'll just do I'll do a quickie video. And actually the quickie name, just because one of the old shows that I always liked watching, still like watching, was Laugh-In from the late '60s, early '70s, and they'd have these the quickie. It was a fun kind of play on words or whatever. But anyway, so that's where my head went, and I started these then, and I think that it was N Zeppel was the tangle, and then that started the notion, and I can't remember if it was right after that or a little while after that, did the 100-day project, and I made that my goal to do a new tangle, new to well, not necessarily new to me, a new tangle, present something new every day for the 100 days. I think that was 2021, and I decided, because I have this thing about counting. It has to do with habits. It's a long story. Actually, I believe that I wrote this. I wrote about it in. If you go to my website, link is in the description also. Um, it's from a book that I read called The One Thing, and I was picking the one. Oh, in the book they talked about habits, and they put forth a 66-day challenge. Well, right now I'm on day 2,000, and I have to go look at my chart. I try to look at the chart where I literally cross off the day every time I exercise. And I try to look at the number and just kind of have a little, mini celebration every time I do it, because I really hate exercising. But yet, yeah, it was like 2,080 or something like that. And so when we were doing this, I'm like, well, I don't want to start over. I don't want to start over. I don't want to stop. We've already counted to 100. It's kind of a waste to stop counting. So we didn't. I just keep going. And this is the ninth inception of the 100-day project. It's just a concurrent 100-day project. And it's really fun. So there we go. All finished. But do check out the description section. Again, lots of information, step outs, ways to connect with me, ways to connect with other Tangle Addicts in our group. I do classes twice weekly. And on those the 2 days that I do them twice in each day. We do the same thing in an AM session and a PM session. And it's just a lot of fun. A lot of them are free. Some of them are paid. Come and join us. We'd love to have you. All right. With that, thanks so much for watching and listening. If you've listened all the way to the end, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I wish you happy tangling.